doing homework reading first, and then geometry, and then 2 other assignments, and then I'm going to be doing geometry 9. And let's go. Let me say nice.
¿Asada? ¿Es de carne asada? Sí, tienen tacos. Sí, tienen.
Once again,
Sí, tienen tacos. Sí. Sí, tienen.
Okay, I'm gonna lock in. Grandma Smith looking forward to eating cream of wheat and having her combo. Mom on the shoulder, her asking why she didn't told. Finally, Dad held down my fist with a huge hand and holding both his cigarettes and the steering wheel. And that's enough. Mom seemed surprised that I was so upset. Why didn't you tell us? I asked. They didn't seem any point, she asked. What happened? Grandma had only been in her 60s, and most people in her family lived until they were about 100. The doctor said she'll die from leukemia, but Mom thought it was radioactive poisoning. The government was always testing nuclear bombs in the desert near the ranch. Mom said she and Jim used to go out with the ginger counter and find that rocks the ticked. They stored them in the basement and used some jewelry for grandma. There's no reason to grieve, Mom said. We'll have to go someday. And Grandma said Grandma had a life that was longer and fuller than most. She paused. Now we have a place to live. Mom explained that Grandma Smith had owned 2 houses. The one she lived in with the green shutter and front door, an older house she made out of Aldo in downtown Phoenix. Since Mom was the older of the 2 children, Grandma Smith had asked her which house she wanted to inherit. The house with the green shutter was more valuable, but Mom had chosen the Aldo house. It was near Phoenix Business District, which made it a place for Mom to start an art studio. She always inherited some money. So she gave us teaching lessons and buy all the art that she wanted. She had been thinking we should move to Phoenix ever since Grandma died a few months back. But Dad refused to leave Battle Mountain because he was so close to his breakthrough in Cinder in his sign leading progress. She's been thinking we should move to Phoenix ever since, and I would. Dad said. Mom let a short laugh. So the trouble kids got into when Billy Dean was actually blessing in disguise. She said, "My art career was going too foolish in Phoenix. I can just feel it." She turned around and look at me. We're just on another adventure, Janet King. Isn't it this wonderful? Mom said. Mom's eyes were bright. And son, and adding, when we pulled up in front of the house on 3rd Street, I could not believe we were actually going to live there. It was a mansion so practically big that Grandma said. It was a mansion so practically big. It was a mansion practically so big that Grandma Smith had 2 families living in it, both paying rent. We had the entire place to ourselves. Mom said that it had been built almost 100 years ago at a fort. The outside walls covered the white stucco wire 3 feet thick. There sure would be stock Indian arrows, I said, Brian. We kids ran through the house and counted 14 rooms, including the kitchen and bathroom. They were filled with things Mom had inherited from Grandma Smith. A dark Spanish dining table with 8 matching chairs, a hand-carved upright piano, sideboard with antique silver serving sets, and a glass front cabinet filled with Grandma's bone china, which Mom distorted was the finest quality by holding a plate on to the light and showing us the clear cinnamon of her hand through it. The front yard had a palm tree, and the backyard had orange trees that grew real orange. We had never lived in a house with trees. I practically loved the palm trees, which made me think I arrived at some kind of oasis. There were also hollyhocks and oleander bushes with pink and white flowers. Behind the yard was a shed as big as the house we lived in. Next to the shed was a parking space big enough for 2 cars. We definitely we were definitely moving up in the world. Thank you for liking and subbing. On a yacht. No. The people living North Street were mostly Mexican and Indian who moved into the neighborhood after white left and the suburb and started driving the big houses into apartments. There seemed to be a couple of dozen people in each house, men drinking beers from paper bags, young mothers nursing babies, and old ladies sunning themselves on the sagging weather porch and corner of kids. All the kids around North Street went to Catholic school at St. Mary's Church, about 5 blocks away. Mom, however, said none were killjoys who took fun of religion. She wanted us to go to public school called Emerson. Although we lived outside the district, Mom begged the principal until they allowed us to enroll. We were not on the bus route, and it was a bit of a bike to school. None of us minded the walk. Emerson was a fancy neighborhood with street coupons by emerging trees, and the school building looked like a Spanish hacienda, and with red turquoise roofs. It was surrounded by palm trees and banana trees, and where the bananas ripened, the students all got free bananas at lunch. The playground at Emerson was covered with lush green grass, watered by sprinkler system, and it had more equipment than I'd ever seen. Seaweed swings, a merry-go-round, a jungle gym, tetherball, and a running track. Miss Shaw, the teacher in 3rd grade class I was assigned to, had sternly gray hair, pointy rimmed glasses, a stern mouth. When I told her I'd read all the Lori Long Wilder books, she raised her eyebrows skeptical. But after I read out loud from one of them, she moved me into a reading group for gifted children. Lori and Brian's teacher also put them in a gifted reading groups. Brian hated it because the other kids were older and he was the littlest guy in the class. But Lori and I were secretly thrilled to be called special. Instead of letting on that we felt that way. However, we made light of it when mom told When we told mom and dad about our reading group, we paused before the word gifted, clapping our hands beneath our chain, fingering our elbow, pretending to look allergic. Don't worry. Don't make a mockery of it, Dad said. Of course you're special. Haven't I always told you that? Brian gave Dad a sideways look. If you were so special, he said slowly, why don't you? His word pretended out. What, Dad? What? Dad asked what? Brian shook his head. Nothing, he said. Emerson had its very own nurse who gave the three of us eye exams. For the first time ever, I aced the test. The Eagle Eye elementary cards, the nurse said, but Lori struggled trying to read the eye chart. The nurse declared her severely short-sighted and sent Mom a note saying she needed glasses. Notice's mom said she didn't approve of glasses. If you had a weak eye, Mom believed they needed exercise to get strong. The way she saw it, glasses were like crutches. They prevented people from feeble eyes from learning to see the world on their own. She said people have been trying to get her to wear glasses for years, and she refused. But the nurse sent another note saying Lori couldn't attend immersion unless she wore glasses, and the school would pay for them, so Mom gave in. When the glasses were ready, we all went down to the orthodontist. The lenses were so thick they made Lori's eye look big and hugged out like fish eyes. She kept swerving her head around and up and down. What's the matter? I asked instead of answering. Lori ran outside. I followed her. She was standing in the parking lot, gazing in toward the trees, the houses, and the office building behind them. You see the trees over there? She said, pointing the Scotmore about 100 feet away. I nodded. I can only see that tree. I could see the individual leaves on it. She looked at me tremendously. Can you see them? I nodded. She didn't seem to believe me. The individual leaves. I mean, not just the branches, but each leaf. I nodded. Lori looked at me and then bursted into tears. On the way home, she kept seeing for the first time all these things that most everybody else had stopped noticing because they'd seen them every day. She read signs and the billboard out loud. She pointed out Sterling preached on the telephone wire. We went into and bank, and she stared up at the vault ceiling and described the pattern. At home, Lori insisted I try her on her glasses. They were blurry. They would blurry my vision as much as they corrected her, she said, so I'd be able to see things as always I had. I put on the glasses and the world dissolved into fuzzy blue shape. I took a few steps and banged into the shin table and realized Lori didn't like to go in front as much as Brian and I did. She couldn't see. Lori wanted Mom to try on the glasses too. Mom slipped them on and blinked, looking around the room. She studied her own painting quietly, then handed the glasses back to Lori. Did you see better? I asked. I wouldn't say better, Mom answered. I say different. Yes, I can. With the instructions, yes, I can. Yes, I can. I know she's like she studied one of her. Okay, Lori is seeing the work clearly. She started compressing drawings and paintings, all wondering things. She discovering like the way she curved titles on emerald roof cast its own curved shadow on the title below, and the way the setting sun painted the lines on the cloud pink, but left the tiles up top purple. Not long after Lori got her glasses, she decided she wanted to be an artist like Mom. As soon as we settled into the house, Mom threw herself into her art career. She incurred a big white sign in the front yard on which she had carefully painted in a black letter with gold outline RM Wall Studio. She turned to the two front rooms of the house into studios and galleries, and she used the two bedrooms in the back to warehouse her collected work. An art supply store was 3 blocks away on North Street, and thanks to Mom's inheritance, we were able to make regular shopping expeditions to the store, bringing home rolls of canvases that Dad stretched and stapled into wooden frames. We also brought back oil paint, watercolor acrylics, gesso, and a silky green screen frame. Indie India ink, wooden mechanic with woven drawings woven we named Edwin and who Mom said would pose for her when her weekends were off at school. Mom decided that before we could get down to any serious painting, she needed a couple of a a, a thought art reference library. She brought dozens of big loose leaf paper binding a lot of packs of lined roll paper. Every subject was given its own blind dogs, cats, horses, farms, wooden animals, flowers, fruits, and vegetables. Rural landscape, urban landscape, men faces, women faces, men's body, woman's body, and hands, feet, meat bottoms, and other body parts. We spent hours and hours going through old magazines looking for interesting pictures. When we spotted one we brought we thought might be a worthy subject of a painting, we held it up to Mom for approval. Look at your DMs. Okay. Hey. Collected a painting soon was one. Life is a bull cherry with few throwing in when she tied her arm. Dad joined the local electrician union. Phoenix was booming, and he landed a job pretty quickly. He left the house in the morning wearing a yellow hard hat and big steel toe boots, which I thought made him look extra handsome because of the union. He was making steadier money than we'd ever seen. On the first payday, he came home and called us all in the living room. We kids had left our toys out in the yards, he decided. No, sir, we didn't. I said, I think you did, he said. Go out, take a look. We ran to the front door outside. Parked in a row, 3 brand new bicycles. A big red one, 2 smaller ones, a blue bike, and purple girl's bike. I thought at first that some kids must have left them there. When Lori pointed out Dad had obviously bought I turned around. Nor, sir and his man, these bikes aren't for us. They are. I asked. Well, they're damn too small for your mother and me, he said. Lori and Brian had climbed on the bikes and were riding up and down the sidewalk. And I started at mine. It was shiny purple and white and had a white banana seat, wired basket on the side, chrome handlebars that swept out like steel horn, and white plastic handles with purple and silver tassels. Dad kneeled beside me like it, and I nodded. You know, Mountain Goat, I still feel bad about making you leave the rock collection back in the mountain. I know, I said. It was more than one. The house had all termites. We discovered this a few months ago as we moved in. When Lori's foot crashed through the spoon wood floor in the living room, after inspecting the house, Dad decided that the termite infestation was so severe, nothing could be done about it. So we caused about the critters. So we walked around the hole in the living room, but the living room floor, but the wood was chewed up everywhere. So we kept stepping on soft spots in the floorboard, crashing through a new hole, demanding if he told me to fetch a wire cutter and a hammer and some roofing nails. He wished off the beer he was drinking, snipped he can open with the wire cutter, hammered it flat and nailed it over the hole. He needed more patches, he said, so he had to go out and buy another 6-pack. After he polished each beer, he used the can to repair one of the holes. And whenever a new hole appeared, he would get the hammer down a beer and another pad job. A lot of our neighbors on the North Street were kind of weird. A clan cyclops lived down the block, a big fat apartment. He saw one of the old gospel women bouncing down the sidewalk on it. She wouldn't give it back, so mom got into a big argument with the head of the clan. And the next day we found chickens with its throat cut on our doorstep. It was some kind of gospel hex. Mom decided she put it to fight magic with cut our doorstep. It was some kind of gospel hex. Mom decided, as she put it, to fight magic with standing on the sidewalk. She held our bone like a hitting excrement and called down a curse. When the bowel earth would open them forever if they bothered us again. The next morning, Brian Bingo's sting lying on the floor yard. The neighbors also had its share of permits. Mostly they were hunched men, wheedling voices who hung around on the street corner and followed us to and from school, giving us boosts when we climbed a fence, offering us candy and loose change if we would go play with them. We calmed them down. Creeps along, but I worried about hurting their feelings because it could wonder if maybe they were telling the truth that all they wanted was to be our friends. The neighbors had also been mostly some men with wailed voices who hung around on the street corner and followed us to and from school, trying to give us boost when we climbed a fence, offering us candy, loose change if we would go play with them. We called them creeps and hollered at them to leave us alone, but worried about hurting their feelings because I couldn't help wonder if maybe they were telling the truth. All they wanted was to be a hell nah. If anyone, I knew that they're not. Even I don't even if a woman did the same thing. Doesn't matter what race they are. Doesn't matter what race they are. That's still creepy. If you don't know who they are. At night, mom and dad always left the front door and back door all the windows open since we had no air conditioning. They explained we needed to let out the circulation from time to time. A man or widow would wander through the front door, assuming the house was deserted. When we woke up in the morning, they find one of them asleep in the front door. As soon as we rolled them, saying off the apartment, mom accused us that they were homeless drunks. McQueen, who was 4 years old and had terrible fears of both men, kept dreaming that intruders in Halloween masks were coming through the door to get us. One night when I was almost 10, I was awakened by someone running in his hand over my private door. At first, I was confused. Lori and I slept in the same bed, and I thought maybe she was moving around in her sleep. I groaningly pushed the hand away. Hey, yo! You know what? Let me just bring my phone down here. Yes, I'm looking. I just want to play a game with you, a man voice said. I recognized the voice. It was a scary guy chief who had been hanging around North Street recently. He tried to walk us home from school and had given Brian a magazine called Kids on the Farm with a pic of boys and girls wearing only underpants. Herbert, I yelled and kicked the man's hand. Brian came running into the room with a hatchet and I kept by his bed. The man bolted out the door. Mom and dad were out that night, and when mom slept, she was dead to the world. So Brian and I ran after the man ourselves. As we got to the sidewalk lit by the solid glow from the streetlight, we disappeared around the corner. The next day, when Dad came home, Dad came home and we told him what happened. He said, "We're going to kill the low-life snodger." He and Brian went out on a huge farmer hunt. Our blood up. We searched the streets for hours. We never did find the guy. I asked Mom and Dad if we should close the door, windows, and everything. They considered it. We needed fresh air, they said. It was essential, but refused to surrender to fear. So the window stayed open. McQueen kept having nightmares of men, hollow men, and even now and then, when Brian and I were feeling remoted up, he got up, Imagine and I get a basketball, and we go farmer hunting, cleaning the streets of the creeks and pubs on kids. Mom and Dad like to make a big point about never searching to fear or project to comfort, who tried to tell us everyone was proper. We were supposed to ignore the water. Then I will do the rest. Look, she said God thought the same way. She go to church and torn painting cloth. It was he believed in science and reason. He was not submitted and voodoo, but Mom had refused to have children unless Dad agreed to raise them as Catholics and to attend church himself on holy days of ornament. Dad sat in pew farming, shifting around and trying to bite his tongue while priests carried on. Jesus recognized Lord from the dead and communicate, filling up to eat the body and drink of blood of Christ. Finally, when Dad was unable to stand it any longer, he shouted out something to challenge the priest. He didn't do it to me. Honestly, he hollered out, pointing in a friendly tone. "Yo, pardon," he said. The priest only ignored that and tried to go with the sermon, but Dad he challenged the priest with science and possibility of meaning. When the priest continued to ignore him, he got mad and yelled something at the Pope and name of the church during the Spanish, but what could you expect? He said from and name. What could you expect? He said from an institution run by men who wore dresses. At that point, the ushers would tell us we have to leave. Please.
Day 9.
Let me tell you something about To that, I'm staring. Let me see the woman too. I don't even know. Okay, wait. Okay, my dad, I'm staring to feel like a rap magazine. He told me he hated the way everything in Phoenix was organized with time card, bank account, telephone bill, parking meters, tax forms, alarm clocks, PTA meetings, corner knocking on the door praying into your affairs. He hated all the people who lived in air conditioning houses with the windows permanently sealed, drove air conditioning cars, mine to five jobs, 9 to 5 jobs, air conditioning operator buildings that he said were little more than must me up position. He just sat those people and then people feeling healed and itchy. He began to complain that we all getting too soft to depend on creature comfort, that we were losing touch with natural order of the world. Dad missed the wilderness. He needed to be foaming fear in our country and living in untamed animals. He said it was AK 19.3K. You're just getting the IRO in here.
I'm hungry, bro. I gotta eat.
Welcome to X. 27 gonna be 30K. That's W. That's there. Dad stood up and was sunning on a mirror and then told his cousins to get in the car. Where were we going at? He hadn't been a single I missed them. I'm going to show you, he said, that no animal, no matter how big or what, is dangerous as long as you know what you're doing. We all piled into the car. Dad drove, nudging another mirror and cutting under his breath about that. And then up an iron line and clickbait summer. We turned in at the city zoo. None of us kids have been to a zoo before. I really didn't know what to say. Lori said that she thought zoos should be outlawed. Mom, who had McQueen in one arm and her sketch pad under the other, pointed out that the animals had traded freedom for security. She said that when she looked at them, she would pretend not to see the bars. At the entrance gate, Dad brought us our tickets, muttering about the idiocracy of paying money to look at animals, and led us down to walk. Most of the cages were patches of dirt surrounded by iron bars with photo gorillas or restless bears or internal monkeys or enigmatic glazers huddled in the corner. A lot of other kids were having fun, grappling, laughing, and throwing peanuts at the animals, but the sight of the poor creatures made my throat swell up. I got half a mind to sneak in here some of the nights and free the critters. Dad said, "Can I hold my ass?" He mused my hair. "Me and you, mountain goat," he said, we'll carry out our own animal prison break. We stopped at the bridge below. In deep pit, alligators stunned themselves on the rocks surrounding a pond. The mini who got the mountain lion shot didn't understand animal physiology. Dad said, if you let them know you're not asleep, you leave you alone. Dad pointed out the scary alligator. Me and Nanny looking going to have. Derek called and Dad stood on the bridge and the alligator at first seemed at me. Looking up, Dad continued to show his eye flash were out there. He made the alligator tried their communication. Your brother, Dad, maybe. Okay. And for the next homework. I'm in favor. This is item E. Wait, the next assignment we are doing is AP Seminar. The move was also made for parents. Feel sad about all the memories they had their own house. In their own house. No. No. The moon could also make her parents feel sad about all the memories they had in their old house. $19, damn. This is a negative emotion. And it can also lead to feeling. It can also lead to it can also lead to the person having an anxiety attack if it happens. It can also lead to a person having an anxiety attack. An anxiety attack if they experience it. If they experience it again, and they experience right. Memory money. Okay, not that. I have to add more. Every night on my mind, every morning. Memories, money. Let me go here. Okay, let me see. This may lead to earthquake. It may also lead to numb fearing. It may also lead to fearing It may also lead them to fearing everything. It may also lead them to be a fear. Coming! It may also lead them. It may also lead them. It may also lead them to be a different person. Memory, model, mm, mm, mm. Right. Never. Mm, mm, mm. He made me yell for the first time. I got I met my dream girl in Ethiopia. Nini was Nini. Nini is breaking hearts. Nini squat squared up, underneath. What that photo? Unsubscribe. Hell nah. Hold on. I'm right back. I'm fucking shit. Now he has pink out of your hat. Now he can leave. Oh yeah. Excuse me. X. I want to see more of the IMI. Hold on, I need to switch to some. I got it only doing 2 seconds. No, 21. Let me go. Talk about that. I need 3 or 4K words. We are mad gang. I can see the 8K okay today. And almost 30K, almost 28K on Twitch. And let's continue. أنا مشغولني دلوقتي لما قلنا أنا they also may feel like they lost they also may feel like they lost a part. They also may feel like they lost they also may feel like they lost someone so important. I like the experience it again. Now anxiety attack or faint if they experience it. Again. Nothing in there, I'm on there like Okay, 8K. Not millions in here. Quantity, higher from me. I never in the box Oblivion, right? He's training the box Oblivion. I think he's training to get Oblivion to kick Oblivion yet. The hell is this guy? I know he's gonna get back to being number one on kick. He's gonna become number one on kick. Telling you to make people feel hot. Oh, I forgot to. I know I did there. I didn't do that right. And then, like, let me go back to here. I'm gonna put you to my other side. Oh no, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna be 90. Okay, I'm gonna say. I'm gonna say. IRL mode. Taco Bell. It's a pancake. Anh em của anh cũng gì? Let's grind. Let's find the right. Okay, let's find the right sentence. No me. No me. Okay. Notice and nurses soon see that every name will call them to feel depressed. Wrong one, I should be at this one. When can make them feel lonely and why he not on cake? I'm so confused. Why need he not on cake? Okay, what else? Let's see. Let's see right now. The man that is calling every day and willing Other than that, meaning kind of negative emotions. And kind of a traumatic reaction from and can have a traumatic reaction to and female. The event could also cause non Here. No, not. Dramatic reaction, the memory, the net could also cause them to have traumatic reaction to the memory. One is going to take that interference on the mind, and your mind will not know. Bring the item, let me turn the item in and see what is one. Moy, sing a mom moy. Na na ni na sing a mom. Sing a mom, sing a mom moy, sing a mom moy. I don't know. Sing a mom, sing a mom moy, sing a mom moy. Kissing love, wait, 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 wait. Listen, I'm saying, when I'm like, no, 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 one, no, no, no. Listen, I'm saying, article love, I'm listening to that 22 on Twitch, X at least 37 on Twitch, extra Emily 8K on Twitch, Indian 1K on Twitch, Indian 1, Sophie 5K on Twitch, Notice 1K. My baby live 230. I'm going live 37K on Twitch. Molly live 3K on Twitch. Scott live 867 on Twitch. Nomart 9K on Twitch. Sam 79 on Twitch. Money 1K on Twitch. Tim Tatement live 3K on Twitch. 11K on Twitch. 237 on Twitch. 273. Oh my 152 on Twitch. 82 live 1K. Lazy live 2.0. Lazy live 20K. I for Walmart live 23. Nearly 7.2K. Baseball 973. 7K. One for live 9.2K. XQC 7.7 from one more 9.2K. Club level 27.3K on K. And then go live 3K. What's I'm really good with being so much right now. Then really so much. Yeah, why are you so The second one goes with it. And it's moving. Negative. Oh, y equals 4, and then x equals y equals 0, x equals, okay, 1, x number 7. Then the next one I'm going to do, this one I'm going to do y equals, not what. Oh, mm, 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 x, y, I'm going one more. And y equals 0, x equals negative 6, x equals negative 1 over x plus 6, y equals 4, x equals 1.
don't look so good. Tell me about it. It's real and
Grills. I don't want bust down diamond grills. I'm not gonna lie. Them shit's like no glaze.
right on Paris. And
Give him 5.
Yo, Sora AI was done.
Okay, we need your help. If you went to Minneapolis, not fulfill
Hey, mom, need homework.
my job. Okay. Okay, take
I think
Exact gaming. Okay. Dad! Dad! Helmon! 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 Now let's go. No playing that. Okay, let's go. Wee. No more. Me. Coming in there. Okay. Hello. What's up? I don't know. Hannah, you done? Hannah!
Yes, I'm done.
Coming. What time is it? What time is it? You did a good job today.